Good day everyone, especially to the students who are watching right now. I am Teacher Cheryl from Iligan City Division. For the guidance of our audience, this episode is for Grade 9 Science first quarter. This episode will help us learn how the circulatory and respiratory systems work together to transport nutrients, gases, and other molecules to and from the different parts of the body. In the previous year, you've learned about digestion. Now, let's have a quick review through the following questions.
What system of the body breaks down food into usable nutrients and excretes waste products? What system of the body is responsible in distributing nutrients from the food we eat to cells in our body? The first answer is digestive system. The second answer is circulatory system.
Today, we will learn how the circulatory system works with another body system to circulate blood and oxygen throughout the body. Can you guess the other body system I am talking about?
Respiratory system.
Correct! So, we will focus on the respiratory and circulatory systems working together. But before I continue, let us be guided of the following questions. Can you read it?
What happens when we inhale and exhale? Why is oxygen important to our body? Why do the heart and lungs need to work together?
Breathe in and out. Notice your chest and belly moving and feel the air passing through your nose. The air we breathe goes through your nose, nasal passageway, and then through the trachea, or also known as the windpipe, which separates into two branches called the bronchial tubes or bronchi, each bronchus entering each lung. The bronchi subdivide many times inside the lungs, finally becoming hair-like tubes called bronchioles. In the last part of the terminal bronchioles are the tiny, bubble-like bunch of structures called alveoli or air sacs, where the exchange of gases occur. So, we have just learned the essential parts of the respiratory system. Now, we will further understand the mechanism and activities of the lungs and the diaphragm. When we breathe in or inhale, the diaphragm muscle contracts. Inhaling moves the diaphragm up. Simultaneously, the ribs move up and increase the size of the chest cavity. There is now more space and less air pressure inside the lungs. When we breathe out or exhale, the diaphragm muscle relaxes. The diaphragm and ribs return to their original place. The chest cavity returns to its original size. Let's apply what we've learned in physics. The air goes from high pressure area to low pressure area. When we inhale, the air is pushed into the lungs because there is a lower air pressure in the lungs than the outside. When we exhale, there is now less space and greater air pressure inside the lungs. So, the air is pushed outside where there is lower air pressure. That's the breathing mechanism. Now, we will learn about the gas exchange that takes place in the respiratory and circulatory systems. What kind of gas do we get when we inhale or exhale? When we inhale, our respiratory system gets oxygen. When we exhale, carbon dioxide is released. All cells in our body need oxygen to create energy efficiently. When the cells create energy, they also make carbon dioxide. We get oxygen by breathing in fresh air, and we remove carbon dioxide from the body by breathing out stale air. But how do this happen? Let's take a closer look on how the circulatory system works. There are three major parts of the circulatory system. These are the heart, blood vessels, and your blood. The heart is responsible in pumping your blood throughout your body. The heart is a hollow muscle which is as big as your fist. It has 4 chambers, 2 atria, and 2 ventricles. The atria are the receiving chambers of the heart. The right atrium accepts blood from the body, and the left atrium accepts blood from the lungs. The ventricles are the pumping chambers. The right ventricle moves the blood to the lungs, while the left ventricle moves blood into the body. There is a valve between each atrium and ventricle to prevent the blood from flowing backwards. All of the muscle tissues of the heart do not contract at the same time. The different parts of the heart contracts at different times. The blood vessel carries the blood throughout the body. Blood vessels consist of the following: the arteries, which carry oxygenated blood away from the heart, going to the cells, tissues, and organs of the body. Veins, which carry the oxygenated blood to the heart. Lastly, the capillaries. The capillaries are the smallest blood vessels in the body which connects the smallest arteries to the smallest veins. It is the actual site where gases and nutrients are exchanged. The last major part of the circulatory system is the blood. The blood carries the materials throughout the body. Here is the process of how blood flows. The superior vena cava accepts blood from the head, neck, upper limbs, and chest, while the inferior vena cava accepts blood from the lower limbs. Both the superior and inferior vena cava go to the right atrium and enters the right ventricle through tricuspid valve. The blood exits the right ventricle through pulmonary valve and enters the pulmonary artery. The left and right pulmonary arteries go to each respective lung. In the lungs, gas exchange occurs. The blood removes carbon dioxide and picks up oxygen. Now, the blood has plenty of oxygen. It is in this part that the blood becomes oxygenated. Now, the blood goes to the heart via pulmonary veins and enters the left atrium. Blood enters left ventricle through mitral or bicuspid valve. Blood exits left ventricle through aortic semilunar valve and enters aorta. The aorta distributes oxygenated blood to the rest of the body. As oxygenated blood goes to the cells, it drops off oxygen needed for cellular respiration to create energy. And at the same time, it picks up carbon dioxide from the cells as a product of cellular respiration. It is in this part that the blood coming from the different parts of the body becomes deoxygenated. Then, the whole process is repeated again. There are 3 types of blood circulation. First, the pulmonary circulation, which refers to the movement of blood from the heart to the lungs and back to the heart. Next is the coronary circulation, which refers to the movement of blood through the tissues of the heart. And lastly, systemic circulation. It is the movement of blood from the heart to the rest of the body, excluding the lungs. Now, let's have a recap. The circulatory and respiratory systems work together to circulate blood and oxygen throughout the body. Oxygen taken in from the respiratory system moves to the blood. This oxygenated blood passes the heart, then travels to the cells throughout the body to provide oxygen for the cells, and at the same time picks up carbon dioxide. the blood becomes deoxygenated. The oxygenated blood goes back to the heart and passes to the lungs to take oxygen. This process is repeated all over again. Now, it's time to test your understanding. So I have here 3 questions. For the first question, what happens when we inhale or breathe in? A. The diaphragm contracts and moves upwards. The chest cavity expands. B. The diaphragm relaxes, the chest cavity returns to its original size. The answer is A. The diaphragm contracts and moves upwards. The chest cavity expands. Number 2. Why is oxygen important to your body? A. Our cells need oxygen to create energy efficiently. B. Our cells need oxygen to excrete the wastes in our body. The answer is A. Our cells need oxygen to create energy efficiently. Number 3. Why do the heart and lungs need to work together? A. To control water balance in the body by filtering the blood. B. To make sure the body has the oxygen-rich blood it needs to function properly. The answer is B. To make sure the body has the oxygen-rich blood it needs to function properly. Wow! We've just finished another episode. You just learned how the respiratory and circulatory systems work together. Thank you for listening. I hope you've enjoyed our segment for today. Please tune in for the next episodes because we got a lot more lessons to provide. Again, this is Teacher Cheryl saying, an investment in knowledge gains greater returns in the future.